Party. I'm your excellent host, Wayne Campbell. With me, as always, is Garth.
Party on, Wayne.
Party on, Garth. All right. Excellent.
All right.
Excellent. Okay.
Say 2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999.
Okay, McCashin and Martin are back on the air, and we've got several episodes. We're going to be talking about Saratoga County. Kevin, I attended a party last night that got me motivated to talk about Saratoga County.
Were you invited?
Yes, if I paid $65 a head for my wife and myself.
Oh, so everybody's
So
invited.
130. Anybody, if you got the $65, it was an honor for the Saratoga County clerk, Craig Hayner, who has been a Half Moon Town councilman. He was a Half Moon Town supervisor after the Mindy Wormuth debacle. They needed to bring in somebody with honesty and integrity.
There you go.
After that. And then he ran for assembly. He didn't get the nomination. He did win Half Moon, and he won Clifton Park. And Clifton Park had put a person up who certainly was nowhere near qualified or had the integrity.
Well,
that
do they
Hayner.
have more money than Hayner? Because that's usually the qualification.
The chick who won had more money, and she had all of Colony behind her.
Oh, okay.
So that was a lot more votes.
I understand.
So Hayner got Clifton Park, and he got Half Moon, but even those combined did not outweigh the Republican Colony
Right.
contingent. He lost that, but subsequently he became the Saratoga County clerk, and he is an industrious guy. His family own an ice cream stand over in Half Moon. He's worked for Heinz Ketchup for years. He doesn't any longer, but he did that. No scandal involved with him. He's the closest thing I would say we've got to a libertarian.
Not many elected libertarian Republicans.
No, and he's not 100%. He and I have argued about taxation. He believes, and I just haven't dissuaded him of this, that taxation is effectively the admittance fee to live in our society.
Okay, so it's the price we pay for civilization.
Exactly. The price we pay for being in this
Right.
country.
So then why don't we give all our money to him, and then we'll have 100% civilization?
He's not a Marxist by any way, and I hear too many conservatives and people who are close to being libertarians use that argument. The taxation
Yeah, it's a bad argument.
is the ticket to get into the democracy. Well, no, and I agree with you. Why not give them everything then? And back in the day, as we know, there was taxation by having tariffs for the federal government. So there were no income taxes based on your sweat. It was based on sending products into this country. We had tariffs. One reason why the Civil War happened is because the South was, in fact, the main economic generator for the federal government. Lincoln didn't want the South to secede. That was the main income for the Union. There was no income tax until he put the first income tax.
Yeah, was
in.
it like 0.5%?
Whatever
With
his
the war
was,
tax,
it was,
sure.
yeah, and it went away the minute he got shot. But he put that in partly because the South wasn't paying those tariffs. He
right.
needed income from someplace.
Yeah.
Now, the North paid tariffs too, but they were not as industrial, and the South was getting a lot of product in because they didn't buy things from the North because the North had shoddy goods. Shoddy wool is reused wool, recycled wool. So they would take wool dresses or wool coats or whatever, put them through the system again, and come up with the wool uniforms for the Civil War, the Union forces. Russell Sage is the guy who actually started that. He was an industrialist that a lot of the robber barons looked to. Russell Sage was the guy who invented being a robber baron.
Right, but then his wife robbed him of his money, started a university.
The second wife.
Oh, the second wife.
Oh, she I don't think she cared for him too much. because she started a women's college. He didn't like women. Big FU.
Well, they still hate women at Russell Sage because they're going to have Ann Richards' daughter there, who's a big abortionist.
As a teacher or
No,
a
as their
lecturer?
commencement speaker.
Oh, really? And what
Yeah.
does she do?
Well, she advocates for abortion. When you look at that as a philosophy, it ties in with the nihilism of the world. If you believe in evolution and science, the primary role of an organism is to reproduce. So when you have philosophies that destroy that or minimize that, they're degenerate.
Oh, they're corrupt. Absolutely, 100%.
That's a degenerate philosophy.
It has nothing.
Anti-human.
I would agree with you that many of these things, as you said, this is a scientific, evolutionary thing,
Yeah.
has nothing to do with religion. Although major religions realize this philosophically, if you will. So they realize we have to reproduce. We have, says the guy who has no kids.
Right.
But you as a whole, we have to reproduce. The organism, humanity, has to reproduce.
Correct. And the other thing is that just to tie in with evolution and the evolution of religion, so to speak, secular societies, so we would say secular humanism or atheism, man is God or man above God or God doesn't exist, have the highest suicide rates. So that's a degenerate philosophy too.
Yes.
So if you're maximizing sexual reproduction, it would seem that the religion was either God created man or man created God, was created to maximize that, to be fruitful and multiply. So these are more dead-end, degenerate philosophies.
And back to Craig Hayner. Speaking about degenerates, and actually he's not. And as I say, last night at the function when I congratulated him, I said he should run for higher office. His wife is supportive of him running.
What assembly district is he in?
I think it's the 129th. It's
Who's
the one.
that?
Walsh. Yes, it's Walsh.
The Walsh
I
district.
forget because I'm going to talk about her in a little bit. It may be this episode, it may be the next episode. But Mary Beth Hines Walsh. She doesn't go by Hines anymore. I think that was her first husband's name, and she goes by the second husband's name.
She's an assembly person?
She's an assembly person.
How come I've never heard of her?
Because she's low key. She's not a dynamic personality. She's not a dynamic personality. But anyhow, so actually getting off of him. So there were a lot of people, about 160 some people there at $65 a head. Food was good. It was up at the Vista in Clifton Park, the Van Patten Golf Club. Always a good spread. I've gone there for social events. I've gone there for political events. Always a nice spread. They make good drinks, my wife says. The drinks I drink are all booze. They're not mixed. My wife drinks girly drinks. So I know that's sexist, but that's true. So
Yeah.
she mixes hers with something.
The Cosmo.
That's exactly what she drinks, is a Cosmo.
What year is it?
1958?
Was it big in the 50s? Was it
No, I think the Cosmo was hot in the 60s through the 80s.
Yeah, I think it was
And
hot along with the Sex and the City Miranda era.
That was it. So
it's back.
But she's back. Next Door Kitchen up in Ballston Spa makes a very good Cosmo. And the Inovo down in Colony makes a good Cosmo.
Yeah.
So it's because it's mixed. Well, I drink Manhattans, which are from the 30s. So I drink Manhattans, but it's all booze. It's bourbon. I drink a bourbon Manhattan. So it's a bourbon and vermouth. There's no girly stuff in there. So I can't get a bad drink.
Yeah.
Other than if the percentage is off, and who cares?
No juice with your poison.
There's no juice with the poison. So anyhow, so it was a good event. Now, let me say who wasn't there, which I know you're dying to know, the mighty midget Marchione,
Wow.
Kathy Marchione. She's a state senator. She was
Where was she? Maybe she
She
had
left-
another awards dinner.
No, actually, she left word that she was sorting her sock drawer, and the Argyles, I guess, were
Maybe-
giving her some difficulty. It was
Maybe-
something. There was Argyles that didn't match or something. So
She's a state senator, though.
she's state senator. I think she's the shortest state senator on record. I think she's 3'5". She thinks she's 3'9". A couple of years ago, she won the William Howard Taft Award. So that's impressive.
Did Joe Bruno used to show up at all these events? Bruno was your state senator or no?
Here's what they always do. They would show
They
up.
do the pop in?
They do the pop-in, and that's what Mary Beth Hines Walsh did. She did a pop-in. I saw her there. You get to see her. They flit about. They make sure everybody sees them. and then off they go. They go back home, they go with the family, they do whatever. And that's fine. I've attempted to do that. I've never been able to. But when somebody's getting an award, granted, it's a political organization, it's a political event, but it is still an award for this guy, an acknowledgement to say, hey, we think you're a good guy. Gibson has gotten it in the past. Steve Bulger, the new economic guy down in New York, who's
Does he work for SBA? Linda McMahon? Does he have to wrestle? Does he have to wear a unitard?
You know what? I think I saw something under his suit last night. Is that, you think that's what it could have been? It looked
he
like
could be a wrestler. He's big enough to be a wrestler.
Yeah. I'm going to have to ask him next time I see him. He could be a
SBA guy.
wrestler. What would be his
What's the
moniker?
What's the SBA do?
Government man.
Government man. Yeah, loan man. Small business loan man.
Small business loan man.
man.
Well, he works in New York City and up in this area.
So it's got to be a region, right?
It's a regional thing. So I don't think he has Puerto Rico.
On that note,
Okay, we're going to say goodbye for now.
Semper Sic Tyrannis.